Attention bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen! Hello, yodelers! We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I am your host today, Peter, with my co-host,
Japheth.
and
Jackie.
And back again, back-to-back weeks, we have Father Yodeler.
Howdy.
Yes, and today, if you listened to last week's episode, we kind of hinted at some of the things we might be talking about.
Preview.
We had little sneak peeks, so
Foreshadow.
those of you that listened, you guys already know what we're going to talk about. But recently, we had a couple people go on a special trip to Disneyland.
Disneyland.
Vacated Disney.
Yes, so we had Yodeler Jackie and Father Yodeler here. They went to Disneyland.
Separately. One didn't tell the other. It was awkward.
It was
in the
just-
Matterhorn.
it was just like,
one was at the Tomorrowland line, one was at the Fantasyland, and they met up, and they're like, oh,
What are
hey.
you doing here?
No. So, you guys planned this trip. You guys went the first week of December.
Yeah, usually the quietest, traditionally the quietest week of the year.
There's no such thing as quiet anymore.
Since it opened up, that week has always been the quietest. But because of reservation
system.
it was as full could be.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yes.
So, you're saying the reservation system makes it people more desirable to get their tickets and their reservations in, and so more likely to show up those days.
You ruined it again.
Yes.
There are no. Well, the thing is, the park is not at capacity still.
Supposedly.
It's still pretty nasty.
It's not that bad. It really was not that bad being there.
It's pretty nasty.
Dad would say that if there was a line longer than 20 minutes
Yeah.
at Peter Pan, you know. It was nasty. Peter Pan's 20 minutes. Oh, it was great.
I don't see how you were saying it was terrible. It was not like Christmas Day at the park. It was really not that
I've
bad.
never been at the park on
I
Christmas
have.
Day.
I have many holidays there, and 4-hour, 3-hour lines
It's
is
rough.
miserable.
Yeah, when Tower of Terror in Florida goes all the way down Sunset Boulevard, all the way to Hollywood Street, to the main access of the park, that's...
When
that's
you're
pretty
breaking
damn-
theme and holding the end of
I
the
don't
line
think that's going to
aside.
happen with the current reservation
Probably
system,
not.
though, because
No.
I think they regulate it that way.
The-
So you don't get the totally beyond maxed out.
The
You
miserable
get
Fridays.
as full as they dare make it
Yes.
maxed out.
And we'll talk more about their new Lightning Lanes and
Genie
Plus.
Because those magically appeared the week we were there
Yeah.
without any
Surprise.
warning.
It was
So-
unexpected.
So you guys had planned out your week as to like what you were gonna do, what the plan was, and then Monday they just said, "Oh yeah, by the way, Wednesday Genie Plus is becoming a thing at
So
Disneyland."
Monday was wonderful, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, Monday was a great day.
Because
there
there
was no fast pass.
it was
The
like old
lines
school.
moved.
Yeah.
The lines moved. There were
Were some
no standing
longer
in line.
lines, but you just were like, I'll wait to ride that attraction till it just lowered down. Or the line just moved because it was constant. There was no pause.
There was no
there
wait.
was nothing to stop the
Yeah.
line.
There's no 3-to-1 ratio when it comes to...
Rise of the Resistance broke down, but that was for a little while, and then it was up and
Rise
running.
of the Resistance without a fast pass was great.
It was fine. I had no problem with that attraction.
They say like the line is like 70 minutes. Definitely not 70
we
minutes.
we didn't spend more than
30 minutes.
Yeah, an hour tops, and that was even with the wait because of the breakdown. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
That was my understanding. I've watched a lot of people who were like vlogging, Rise of the Resistance through this time period, and they would talk about how they definitely overestimate for Rise of the Resistance
Mm-hmm.
for that occasion of breakdowns or whatnot.
We did find something interesting out Rise of the Resistance closes at 8 p.m.
No matter what.
No
Yes.
matter what, it closes at 8
Even
p.m.
if
They
the
must have a hard shutdown. Like, it takes a while.
They
for it to
say
do.
because
down.
they've got a lot of maintenance because there's a lot involved and so
The
on.
systems have to reboot.
I'm not
or-
sure if that's exactly the reason, but if you know that it shuts down at 8, just make sure you're there at 5, 6 o'clock.
Even
The
a little bit
shorts
before.
are not bad because people are usually thinking about dinner at that time or the parade is going on. So it's drawing people away from that park, and so
It's normally super busy first thing in the morning
Yes.
because that's where everyone's running
Avoid
to.
it in the morning.
that's why we went to Space Mountain first thing
Yes.
that morning, and that was a breeze to get on.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it used to
You
be
know, just
Space
the-
Mountain. Everybody ran to
Peter
Space.
Pan, Space Mountain.
Yep.
Or
Now it's Peter
Indiana
Pan.
Jones.
And, yeah,
Rise.
Peter Pan and Rise of the Resistance now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Peter Pan still 45-minute wait no matter what time of day you go.
Just look at that queue, and it's like
You could be the first person at the rope, and it'll
you'll
still be a
still be-
You're like, why
45-minute
am I
wait.
outside the queue still? Why am I in the chain link? This is ridiculous.
How did this happen?
The shortest time to ride Peter Pan from my studies is around lunchtime.
Yeah, around 11 o'clock.
Because the sun is out there, and so people are saying, I don't want to stand outside of the
Fantasyland's the
shade."
worst place to be. I think.
So it's usually not as far into the walkway, and so you're not in the sun very long usually. So since there's no fast pass, it moves pretty quick.
Yeah. So Monday was a great day. We got on a ton of attractions. I mean, we did like basically the mountain run. Hit all the mountains in the morning. All the bigger ones we did.
Was Indiana Jones up and running?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's always like one day out of every trip. Indiana Jones is down.
Always down for the whole day. Yeah.
So Monday was great. I remember going back to the hotel midday, taking a break, and I read the news. Genie Plus is coming in on Wednesday, and I was like frantic because I was like, I knew this was gonna happen just internally because I'm such a planner, and I was like, I gotta do research on this. So instead of napping, I was reading and watching videos.
Disney gods, give me your information, please.
So how was Tuesday?
Tuesday we were at started at California Adventure. We did have hoppers for all the day, so we did have options to hop once 1 o'clock comes around.
Yes.
But we started at California Adventure and rode all the major attractions there. No problem.
No problem.
There's no.
We started in the back. The pier's the best way to start now in California, I would say.
Guardians of the Galaxy, the line was long, but it moved right along.
Mom was
because-
saying it was pretty bad once the fast passes
Yes,
were there.
we'll get into
We'll
that.
get into
Yeah, she
that.
was just like, that's miserable.
Yes. I'll get into that. Jackie went ahead on Wednesday and got the
So Tuesday, normal, good day overall. Wednesday hit, it's big, Genie Plus day. So I was like, okay, we gotta get there, like, on time. And so we get there, we beat Father and Mother Yodeler to the park.
You beat a 60-year-old man pushing Mother Yodeler in a
In a
wheelchair.
wheelchair.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
we beat on the first 2 days.
We were staying at different hotels, okay? So
That's true. You
Beat up
were,
at
you were
Small World
slightly
Boy.
closer.
we were at different hotels, but so I myself and Mark were at Disneyland, and so I was like, okay, let me get Genie Plus, and I can only buy it for those that have scanned their tickets.
So what does Genie Plus do? When you
Yeah.
purchase it, tell me what you get when you get Genie Plus, because I don't know.
So Disney Genie Plus is basically replacing Max Pass, which was the existing prior to COVID, the fast
I
online
like that. That was
fast
good.
pass system.
Yeah.
To where
The system's almost identical to Max Pass.
yes.
It's very similar. There are subtle differences which might change your
Basically,
opinions
you
on
get
it.
to select fast passes on your phone instead of getting the paper kiosk. That was the benefit of the Max Pass. And basically, Genie Plus was going to include all those same features. It included Photo Pass as well.
So they
Only-
got rid of the
only
fast
at
pass. They got rid
Disneyland.
of the fast pass machines now.
Yeah,
Yes.
those are all
Man, I
gone.
remember working those, and you'd have to like open up the kiosk and go get people's keys out, and
Yeah.
the little like
Oh yeah.
mechanism. Okay,
It's all automated now, for good or for bad.
it's in the
Yes.
cloud.
Okay. So yes, there are no more like FastPass kiosks. Those are all gone. And so Disney Genie Plus, what makes it different from the Max Pass system is you can only book the Fast Pass once.
Like that one attraction a day.
One a day.
So you can't do what we did with Space Mountain, where we had like 6 fast passes.
We baked them
each
all day
for
whole
the
day.
entire day.
Only if something breaks down and you keep getting fast
Right.
passes
Yes.
for it.
So
And
what
that's
you do
another
is
strategy.
you get someone in front of you, they'll be like, "Okay, throw park map out," and then
Hit this sensor this time.
Please don't do that. So you only book the attraction once. So you have to really think about when you're going to book it. And then also it does not include so the attractions that include are basically all of the same attractions that are Fast Pass or were Fast Pass, except for Rise of the Resistance, Web Slinger, and
Radiator Springs.
Radiator Springs.
Makes
Are
sense.
the
Those are the biggest ones.
those are the big ones, and
or the new ones.
Sure.
and so those are separate things, so you can't get it. So for Disneyland, it's $20 per person,
Per day.
and so it's per person per day, and then the 3 attractions that we mentioned, those are additional purchase.
Like you paid how much for your speed racers?
$7.
I paid $12 on Friday per person
And
to get those.
Because it's on Friday.
Because
and
it was
I
on
paid
Friday.
$7 on Thursday.
So the
$5
price can
upcharge.
change and vary.
Rise of the Resistance.
Always $20.
It may be
$20.
it may be $30.
On Christmas
No,
Day.
it will only be max $20.
Oh, is that what they said?
Yep, it ranges from $7 to $20.
To ride one ride, $20.
Per
Yes,
person.
additional to everything else you paid.
So if you have a family of 5 and you
Yes.
want to get a fast pass, it's $100. And be like,
But-
sorry, kiddos,
But
we're
you gotta
waiting a long
also
line."
look at this. Yes, if you have a family of 5, that's $100 to go ride one ride, but potentially could be saving a lot of time in that line.
So
That
you
line,
can
you can
ride
save yourself
more
a few.
We're going to learn how to
Because
be
of it.
bored in lines, children. This is a critical part of
I'm
growing
just
up.
pointing that out because some people feel like that is important.
You're buying time. You are. You're buying time.
It is. And, I mean, it goes back to when I was working at the front desk at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and they're like, can I just buy a fast pass for Mine Train? And I'm like,
And then
no.
Jackie comes around the corner with a trench coat. He's like, "Want to buy a fast pass?" Whoa! Put that away.
I kind of view it like when we went to Europe, my brother said, when I said, oh, let's see, this restaurant seems expensive. He said, when you go to Europe, you just enjoy the experience. You count the money after you get
Yes,
back.
so
and
true.
so it's kind of like Disneyland. You just go for the best experience and you add up the bill afterwards.
But for me, $7 compared to $20, I'm like, $7, that's like a churro and a drink.
Oh man, I remember they were like $2.50.
Yeah.
Churro and a cup of water.
So what rides did you ride with Genie
Yeah.
Plus?
So, well, let's go back to the first day. Opened up.
Yes, so Wednesday. So for those, if you listen to our last episode, I made mention that we now have a Twitter page. I did post a thing about saying we have yodelers on the ground stating Fast Pass or Genie Plus is down.
Yep, so I get there. I probably spend, I don't know, an hour?
I spent an hour trying to get it to work, and
That
Yep.
sounds about the
I
general amount of
spent
time.
You
about-
lost an hour of your time.
I lost an hour of my time.
some of it was in line while I was doing
Okay.
it.
I was Well, I personally probably lost an hour of my time. I was sitting on Main Street, so it really wasn't like that bad because you got to enjoy it. We got to see characters, but it was frustrating because you get to the point, you select the people, but it wouldn't let me. It wouldn't take my money. It would say invalid card, and I'm like, take my money, Disney, take my money.
Yes.
Just see that meme. Shut up and take my money.
It was exactly like that. I was screaming on my phone. I was like, take my money.
Hey, at least it didn't take your money. I saw many cases where it took people's money and didn't give them anything for it.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, there was a lot of cases after that I found out that people actually got to purchase it, but
The app wasn't
the
functioning.
app was not functioning.
I thought I saw it said guest services was at like a 3-hour wait just to go to guest services.
I mean, we were there
Why
8
would
in
you
the
do that?
morning.
I don't know why.
We were there 8 in the morning, and you could see guest services, and there was a huge line, and they had queues for it.
So, it would be funny if you're HR and you got the afternoon shift. You're like, all right, let's see how the day's going. And the first thing you see is a queue, and you're like, oh, it's one of those days.
We're having a sick time.
Yeah.
Really? It's not even the 25th.
It's like, really? It hasn't even been 5 minutes, and this thing is we have a 3-hour wait.
Yeah, and people were going there, and I think the cast members were able to get people to get it, but then it wasn't functioning even after they got it.
And if they selected a fast pass, it's all linked to your park ticket, so it may not be showing on your app, but as long as you marked it, it's linked to your ticket. So as long as you scan your ticket, it would still work.
Okay.
And so, yeah. So Wednesday, it didn't work. They came out with a message, probably like 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
Or 2, yeah.
Saying, this is no longer available to purchase. And what we saw from other people that, like, those who did try to purchase it or whatnot, they just had, they were given these, like, comp fast passes.
Yes. They
to
were given
use.
like 3 fast passes.
But they didn't really interfere with our day.
It
there
did
weren't
not
that
interfere
many.
because
no
like,
fast pass.
not a lot of people could even purchase it. So,
And my understanding, they all got refunds.
Yes,
yeah.
they did.
Seems fair.
And so, Wednesday was a disaster.
So I was expecting the worst on Thursday. But lo and behold,
Thursday happened. We actually arrived late to the park that day, so we were just an hour late to
How
the
dare
park.
you.
I know.
What's wrong
We
with
wanted
you?
to sleep there.
How dare you try to enjoy?
It was our last day. We just wanted to sleep there. So, I was like, okay, let's see if Genie Plus is working. Got it. Got it to work, purchase, okay, we're in, everything seemed to be running smoothly. And I talked to my husband, he's in programming and stuff, and I was like, how could this work? Like, one day, total disaster, they had to shut it down.
They went into the code and they just said, "Oh, there's an extra A here. Let me delete
No,
that."
it's always a missing semicolon.
Oh, a
It's
semicolon.
always a semicolon that's missing. That
And they
ruins the
basically
code.
said they probably just had to make more room in the servers.
Yeah, it's usually server side. When it
yeah, I
comes
think
to,
they
like,
were
capacity.
overwhelmed. They did not expect. Everybody I saw in the park on Wednesday was trying to do this.
Well, you gotta
Because-
imagine you had all the Disney bloggers and news people all trying to
But
do it
your
as well.
ticket's on there too, so you see that it's an option when
Right.
you
Oh,
go
okay.
to get in, and so everybody was trying to get this thing to work. So I can see that they may not have been expecting. Oh, a few people are going to know about it. No, everybody knew about it.
And what was annoying about it, and what they probably could have prevented it, was you can only buy it once your ticket's been scanned. My thought is, why can't you buy it before?
You can now.
Oh, you can.
So, because I'm planning my trip to Disneyland here in a little bit, and so we just purchased our tickets. It does give you that option to buy it beforehand.
I'll do it.
Oh, do it. Yes.
Well, we're going for 5 days, so we
Oh.
don't really feel the need for it, and nobody else in our party is going to be using it anyway.
I can see what
So we're just gonna experience the park, no lightning lane, and see how that
Let me
treats us.
explain how that worked. How did it work for you the first
Okay.
day you used it? Your day was separate than our day on Thursday. We kind of did our own thing because of other plans that night. And so
Yep.
how did your day, because your day was different than my day.
Lightning Lane worked great. So, so the big thing is you have to be concerned, watch wait times. That day, it was rainy, so there weren't a lot of people in the park. So it was
Oh, I love rainy days in the park.
So it was a big factor because you had to look at wait times and be like, is this worth to use my one-time Lightning Lane? And sometimes it wasn't. Like, my husband was like, oh, I want to ride Incredicoaster. Can we do that one next? And I was like, oh, can we get a Lightning Lane? And I was like, it's a 15-minute wait. Let's just wait in
That's
the line.
why, yeah, you look at the line for the credit
That's the thing. That's something you need to be conscious about when buying this service is about. And that's what, like, a lot of people don't like about it, is that it's now stressing people out in the sense of, like, when to use it. Because not all queues are created equal.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's
Like,
really
for
true.
example, your Lightning Lane / Fast Pass. If you haven't caught on to the new lingo, they should have just kept Fast Pass.
Yeah.
That's the best term ever.
Rebrand, come on.
No, Lightning Lane is a garbage term. Sorry, rant over. Indiana Jones. It'll say 45-minute wait, and there's nobody in the exterior queue. And you use your Lightning Lane, you're still got a 45-minute wait.
Because it goes all the way up to the chamber where it's
Because
the
it only covers the outside queue. As soon as you enter the
Same queue.
opening temple, your advantage is gone. So you have to be conscious of where you enter in the queue and how much time you're
Is it
actually
worth
saving.
Yeah, and you have to be knowledgeable of all the line queues of where the
Yes.
fast point is, because there was times, and what I saw, just observing it, in the morning, some of the times were being booked up. For example, Guardian of the Galaxy times were being booked up fast, and I was scared that, like, they would get sold out. But then I thought, well, people are booking them all in the morning. By the evening time, they'll be
People have
more
used up.
available because people have used it up.
Okay.
And that's what happened.
How
you
many
know?
lightning passes do you get a day?
You get one
For
Per-
each ride?
for each attraction that
Okay.
offers it.
And so, we purchased it on Thursday. We part hop both, and we tried to see, and it was not like a stressful or heavy day. So basically, any attraction I wanted to ride that had a Lightning Lane, I could get a Lightning Lane for that moment and go on right away. There wasn't really a delay time of like, oh, I have to wait 2 hours or anything. And once you use your Lightning Lane, you can book another.
Okay. Quick fast pass.
Or do the it's the 2-hour rule.
Or
The
wait
same
2
rule as
hours,
it has
yes.
the fast
Okay.
pass before is the
So
the
same
2
exact
hour or
rules.
until you use
Boy,
it.
they're really trying to confuse you with the
Oh
new
yes,
name.
they do. Yes, they do.
And so for, so our day, we started off at California Adventure, and then we hopped over at 1 o'clock when we could to Disneyland. And we were at Disneyland from 1 until 7. And from 1 to 7, we also did other rides that weren't Lightning Lane, but the only ones that we didn't do that were Lightning Lane, Autopia, Millennial Falcon, Splash Mountain, and Star Tours.
Millennial? Where's the millennial?
Millennial.
You know what really bugs me about these millennials?
Millennial.
They don't know how to call it the Millennium Falcon. Sorry, I had to. I was like, it's millennial.
So there were 4 attractions that we didn't go, but we probably could have gone on though, if I really focused on it. And then for California Adventure, there's not that many Lightning Lane
There isn't.
selections, so there was only 3 we didn't do: Goofy Sky School, Grizzly River Ride, and Monsters Inc. And
What? You didn't use it
And
for
we didn't do
Monsters,
those 3
see?
because we just didn't want to. It was cold,
Come
so we
on.
didn't want to do Grizzly. Goofy's miserable, and Monsters Inc. is boring. So
I will defend that attraction. Oh,
Monsters
wait, I
Inc.
have done that.
And lost.
I will say,
Ouch.
I will say, it's still worth going on. It does not need a fast pass.
No.
The line is miserable to wait in. It's one of my least pleasant lines to wait.
If you got the money, use the fast pass and get the torture over
Well,
quickly.
mine as well, right?
Right.
If you're
you
gonna
pay for the
purchase it.
fast pass, sure.
And so my thought process is, if you're gonna park hop, say you're gonna park hop for the day, buy the lightning lane for one day, do all the lightning lanes for one day, and then you don't have to do it.
So do a park hopper and a Genie Plus, and you've taken advantage of all it. You've ridden all those rides. You haven't had to wait excessively. Let me talk about waiting excessively.
And all the lines that we had to do were basically walk-ons, except for Midway Mania, Toy Story, which that was miserable for Lightning Lane and Standby.
Oh, if it's miserable for Lightning, it's going to be way.
It was, because that was the first ride we went on Thursday. Oh, man. We went, and the outside queue was half full. That's a good day for a Toy Story
right there,
movie.
right?
You say, that's great. We got in there, and it's first started out fine, and then the Lightning Lane started to pile up. And they were letting Lightning Lane people go through 6, 7, or more families to 2 in the regular line. So basically figure when you see the line and you don't have a Lightning Lane, that it's 3 times longer than what you're seeing.
And there's nothing meaner than someone who's been waiting standby and you're the family that just showed up. The hate in their eyes at you because you just strolled up and they've been waiting and they've seen 7 families go before them.
Yeah.
The stink eyes, the worst.
It felt horrible. And then once we got past the Lightning Lane merge, the ride broke down.
Ooh.
Oh man, that was bad. That was bad. That
Mr.
had nothing
Potato
to do
was
with
fried
it,
at that point. There was anarchy.
Then we tried again. We went to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
The Lightning Lane was
It's long.
long on that
Yep.
ride. Again, how many? There's only 3 Lightning Lane options in California Adventure. That was one of them. That was long. We got in line to the standby.
There's 7.
We were okay. 3 worth it.
Yeah. 4.
We were just outside the gate where the queue was starting for the standby. Reasonable. We'd done it the day before or a couple days before. It was fine. We stood there for 5 minutes, did not move once in those 5 minutes. I said, forget this. Before I get behind that gate, I am getting out of this line.
It's
now.
true. We did Lightning Lane for Guardian of the Galaxy. It was our last one. The posted wait time, it was showing like 3 hours. This is an hour before the park closed.
Oh my gosh.
That was false. There was no way it was 3 hours because they were just
You imagine it's like 12. The park closed at 9 and you get out of the park at 12 because you've been in line.
I've seen it multiple times during this trip. They fluff the times to an extreme amount.
Yes, they
an
do.
hour before the park closes. On big
Pretty smart.
attractions.
You see the cast members like, yeah, hold on to this one for like 3 hours. Give it to the last guest, hour before.
I saw it on Web Slinger. I saw it on Guardian of the Galaxy. I'm sure they do it on some of the bigger
Do they still
attractions.
have the red card still?
Yep.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. Don't use those. Those are gross. No one washes those.
Yeah.
Sure, they don't.
They don't wash them. So don't touch them.
So
Or you just give them to your kid, and your kid's all like, "Yeah, I got it."
Yeah.
No,
Then they
we're
stick it in
gonna
their
learn.
mouth, and then I get sick the next week. No, don't touch them. Just say, no. No speak English.
so we did
Trash, trash, trash.
So we did the Lightning Lane. It was outside into Avengers Campus. And we I don't know how long we waited in that line, but it was probably closer to 30 minutes for a Lightning Lane.
Ooh.
Which is pretty long for a Lightning Lane.
30 minutes is long for a line for me now.
30 minutes is not bad when it's moving, but
Yes.
if you're...
But this line was not moving.
Ugh, that's torture.
They were down an elevator.
Oh, well, yeah, that'll do it. That'll
They only
do
have
it.
3, don't they?
They have 3.
Yep, so they were down the middle elevator, which did slow things down, but, yeah. So I would say the main effects that I saw, it was Midway Mania and Guardian of the Galaxy.
Those are
The
like the
2
best
I try
ones
to
that
hit,
you'll
those are
want.
the best, and man, I would only do those with the Lightning Lane unless I happened upon those lines at a good time. So
Unless you do Midway Mania first thing in the morning.
yeah, that one's not bad because usually people aren't doing lightning lanes so much first thing in the morning.
going
So
to
you're
Radiator
good
Springs.
if you're going many days, you can probably take the morning advantages and access those things. If you're only going for one day, by all means, get the lightning
Yes.
lane
Yes.
and go
Pay it.
through it and get it done. And if you just don't want to wait and you can afford it,
And
why?
honestly, you can even play it by ear. I know you guys are saying get it beforehand. You can even play it by ear. When you get to the park,
You can get it there.
You can get it at noon. If the park starts getting too busy for you, you can get it at noon and just like, okay, now it's time to
Yep.
start using it because everyone knows, usually first thing in the morning, it's not so bad.
It's true.
I
I recommend not using those lightning lane fast passes in the morning. Wait till the afternoon or in the evening because
right,
that's
then
when
you can get a second ride on Space Mountain because you rode it first thing in the morning, no problem, and then you can catch a one later
There's
on.
nothing
in the
worse than
day.
getting a fast pass and you like walk on with the person in the
Yeah.
standby.
yes,
and you're just
it's
like
the worst
you're just
feeling.
like,
It's
oh,
like,
I chose. You got the night that pops out of nowhere. It's like you chose poorly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Now that's the Genie Plus. Now there's the purchase ones. I purchased Radiator Springs for $7. Absolutely worth it because the line was 2 hours and there's no way I was waiting 2 hours.
I paid $12 per person for the Radiator Springs. I would do that again.
I always go single rider on that thing
Yeah.
because like you literally walk right onto that attraction. Like that attraction, that single rider line, like because you can hang out with your party the whole time. You're probably gonna share a vehicle with one other person in your party, and you'll be done. All of you will be done with your ride by the time
It
you
cuts the
anyone-
time by like a third.
drastically. So that would be if you don't want to pay for it. And you're okay with not being with your entire
Yeah,
party?
if you
single
want
rider.
a picture with your family, single rider does not
It's
work.
not a great picture.
No, I agree.
Have you guys ever won the race in that?
Yes.
Once.
I didn't this
I've
trip.
never-
I always
won.
would.
I won once.
You have to be on the right side.
Okay.
No, it changes.
No.
It was the right side this time because I was in the left side.
I've always lost, but I've always taunted the other car.
Yeah,
that's always
that's
fun.
that's always the best part.
Taunting them
Well-
and then losing, and then you have to walk the shame
The-
out of the
the
queue. Like,
shame.
hey, how's it going? Sorry, I
Well, it's
taunted
funny.
you and lost.
Because I did that, I think the last time I went, because I did the single rider thing, and like I was also with another single rider guy I didn't know, and he goes, "Man, you made the ride right there." And they're all like, "We're gonna beat you! You're going down!"
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Enthusiasm always wins out. Now, did you have something else to
I
add?
was just gonna move on to the overall app.
Go ahead.
The free version.
Well, actually, before we get,
Oh.
because we're still talking about Fast, I'm just curious. Have any of you guys watched the hour and 40-minute documentary that Defunctland did on Fast Passes?
No.
No.
So they do a study on like
You would really enjoy it.
probably.
It was very they created like this whole analytical system on how FastPass works, how what makes what's more efficient. Is FastPass more efficient than regular standby on its own? And it was like this crazy elaborate it's so funny because I listened to the behind the scenes of it.
Is this like Mythbusters type of approach?
It's more just informative.
It's
of,
more
like,
informative. Yeah.
Okay.
And so
what's going on
they
behind
created
it.
this huge computer algorithm on I'm figuring this out, and I watched the behind the scenes of it, and the Defunctland people, they were like, we were working on this big Epcot project, but we needed something for the week, something small like a 20-minute episode. And then when we started working on it, we came to the realization people wanted to know what's more efficient, FastPass or does FastPass slow the line down? Is it more efficient? And when they realized they had to answer that question, they realized oh no, this is not an easy project. And so I recommend anyone who has the time to listen to this hour and 40-minute mini documentary from Defunctland about Fast Passes. I would say it's very interesting to learn.
And the Cliff Note synopsis is?
It depends. It depends on the type of
experience.
you're looking
Yes.
for.
If you're looking probably for numbers, there's probably an answer.
So people like
capacity.
us who know how to game the system, we can get the 50, we can hit all the attractions in the day.
Yeah.
The average, they're looking at like 5, 6.
The person that's asking for a fast pass for the Swiss Family Treehouse,
Yeah.
probably not gonna go so well. Yeah.
No, not so well. So, but I would definitely say, even just having it on the background or whatnot, like it was very informative. It's about the history of FastPass, so you learn about like the development of it and how it became this ginormous monster that Disney didn't know how to control anymore, and so they decided to make the monster even bigger and crazier.
Do you remember the time when we discovered you hit the button in the back and you got all these fast passes?
Yeah, you could do it if they didn't lock it, and you can just boop. Oh, I've got a fast pass for right now. Yeah.
They don't have those machines anymore.
Nope. Can't game the system that way.
No, you got to be a hacker now.
Yes.
I don't.
So sorry, that was my random tangent. I was curious if any of you had seen that because it's very because it just came out, and so a lot of Disney blogs and fans are all talking about it. So I was curious if you guys had seen or
the
even
true
heard about
study,
it.
because it's always like, oh man, it
Like
can
they
be
did a
worse.
really good job of their
They
study
come up with
that
the
they
answer
did.
of, well, it depends.
Pretty much. That was basically
Okay.
it. So it
Thank you for the
depends.
cliff note.
Well, and that's the main, like, you go back to, should I purchase Genie Plus? And it just depends on what type of experience you want.
Yes.
Do you want to wait around in lines?
Is your priority the rides? Is it the experience? Is it the shows? Like, what is it that you're looking to accomplish? Are
Yeah.
you looking to be like, I'm going to hit everything? Yeah, it might be the best option for you.
Right.
So,
Could you wait in all the lines and still enjoy your day?
Yes.
Absolutely. You do not need this to have a great day at Disney. It's not,
It's all about your company.
But
That's
if
what
you
it
don't know what you're doing, it could make up for a miserable day.
which gets us into Genie.
yeah, so Genie, so Disney added this feature called a Genie, which...
This is free.
This is the free version. The names that they...
Poorly named. They
Are-
should have just called it Genie and then Lightning Lane and then Lightning Lane Plus.
Yeah.
That's how they should have named these things. Not Genie, Genie Plus, and Lightning Lane.
Where
It's-
Genie and Genie Plus have nothing
It's
related to
They
each
have
other.
nothing
it's
related to
very
each other.
confusing, the names. So if you're confused, I understand why.
They designed it to be confusing, it seems like.
So Genie is the free service. Basically, Disney's idea was to make your day easier, and they would suggest attractions for you for that day that would better optimize your time.
So you've ridden the storybook story ride 5 times in a row?
No, it's
Yeah.
more like
You want to
get-
ride this again?
it's-
Okay, Genie.
It's more like you get there at rope drop and they tell you to go watch the Tiki Room.
Yeah, you're just like, no.
There's no line there.
Yeah.
It works for you.
And basically, I'm sure Disney's, whoever suggested was like, this is a great idea, and the programmers are going, ugh, how do I program this?
Sure.
Because it doesn't work. Do not follow it. That's my suggestion.
The artificial intelligence is artificial.
Just look at the wait times. That's the only thing the
Yeah.
app is good for. Look at the wait time. Or if you find yourself in a situation where you're like, I don't care what we do. Let's see what Disney says we should do.
So it's like the random show on Netflix. Like,
Yes.
I just want to watch a random video.
You can do
it
on
for
that.
Netflix.
But do not base your whole day on this thing
No.
because they will literally have you walking from one corner to the back
Yes.
and forth all day long.
They will jump around from different lands, and it doesn't help if say you have a park hopper. You want to jump from one park to the other. It does not factor
It
that
like
in.
laughs at you. It's like, no, not even close.
Well, I can understand why.
Right.
Because if they do that, then they're going to be like, okay, you're going to go ride Snow White. Now go ride the Incredicoaster. Now go over and watch the Tiki Room show. Now go ride Grizzly River Ride.
Oh,
It's like,
man. You thought the
ugh.
line was really long for City Hall. Wait, there should be a Genie Plus pass. You could spend $20 to go speak to HR before everybody else.
So the free service is a total fail. I think.
I thought it was going to be.
It's an absolute fail.
I was
think
curious
Disney
how it
should
was
just
gonna
turn
work
it
out.
off.
And that's why we're
point.
selling Yodeler Plus, where we will tell you what to do on your trip.
Call us at here this
That's what I
time,
pretty
and we
much-
will guide you through
We're
it.
$200
You know,
an hour
That's
to
not
guide
a
your trip.
horrible idea.
That's what I do anyways when I go to Disneyland. I always go with someone, and so I'm always all like, okay, let's do this, and let's go over here. Well, that's not a good idea right now because there's a parade right now.
Yeah.
We gotta cut. We've got to make it to tomorrow. We gotta get out of Tomorrowland before
We
the parade.
have 15 minutes before the parade crosses. We gotta go now.
Hold on. To
Otherwise,
my
we're
hand.
stuck.
You pull the Aladdin. Do you trust me?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I've been in that situation, especially with I think my last trip with my wife's family. They were all like, "Really?" And I'm all like, "Yes, trust me. You need to do this."
Because
Like,
there's a way to work the system where you will not wait in a line more than 30 minutes.
Yes.
In any attraction.
And that's why you should get Yodeler Plus.
Now, there is a different option. We went to the park partially because we bought tickets to the merriest night. My
Yeah,
wife
the Christmas
and I.
party.
The Christmas party, where you get a much reduced number
Capacity.
of people in the park between the hours of 8 p.m. and midnight. Now, that's only 4 hours, but it can cost as much,
As a
if
day
not
ticket.
more, as a day ticket. And so you might say, oh, you only get 4 hours, whereas I could have the whole day.
But you get so much done.
It is.
well, the thing
a-
is, you get more than 4 hours.
because
Yes.
you get 3 hours more beforehand. However, because you've already filled up the park with reservations, and you're adding 3 hours for people with a special pack. Those are packed hours in Disneyland.
That's when you do like those shows like Abe Lincoln. And,
Yes.
and,
You
like,
did the
Tiki Row.
non
Or you
lightning
do
lane
the attractions that are going to close.
Yeah.
But
That won't do it.
let me describe it partially this way. When you go to the park and it's going to be pretty full, you're kind of move into survival mode at Disneyland. How are we going to get through this day? How are we going to get this? You go to the party and it's like, oh, let's just enjoy this. And you get to shift into a whole nother gear. My wife described it as, wow, it feels like a date night, a real date
Ooh.
night. And it was special in that way. During that 4 hours, we rode 10 attractions.
That's pretty good.
That's
I think
really
I
good.
think say the park, every guest must ride 9 attractions in order to feel like they've
In a day.
in a day to feel like they've got their money's worth. And if not, if they do their analytics, they'll extend the park another hour so people can
Photo
have that.
passes included. We got 10 photo spots where we
Ooh.
had photographers take pictures. 5 of those were with characters. So
Those are normally long at the event.
those are long at
Yes.
events. They were long when we went on Halloween, when I'd done that before, and they were very long, especially R2-D2 and C-3PO on Star Wars night.
Yes.
Those two were long on those, but Merriest Night, it was not as bad.
Were
And
the
so
Seven Dwarfs
Well,
out?
this was the first one that they. Well, I guess it's
it's
Sorry.
the first Disneyland year that they've done
Correct.
that.
Yes.
It was the 6th party of the year, I believe.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so it was the last party of the year. It was extremely good. We also ate at 2 different locations, one in New Orleans, one in Tomorrowland during that time. So you kind of get that first hours of the morning feel because the park is that open. There's no more than a 5-minute ride at anything, basically.
Even the big rides.
Even the big rides. Haunted Mansion Holiday is usually a long line. It was
40
a long
minutes.
queue,
Yeah.
but you were basically almost running to get through the line to where you stop right in front of the door. There was virtually no line for that attraction. But you get this wonderful feeling, and people were in great moods. Not only did we get the photo pass pictures, people were happier. They were
Yeah.
saying, when they saw us trying to take a selfie, they would go, "Can I take this picture with you?" They took some great pictures. Just people over there. It was just a friendlier atmosphere, happier to be there. If you're a Disneyland fan, but maybe not a fanatic, this may get your taste of Disneyland. I mean, we had great conversations with some of the cast members there that you wouldn't get when they're busy with other guests and so on.
Fill in the space.
Yeah.
Side by side.
It's,
all the way
it's
in.
not that. You were having conversations about their life and so on. It was just a very pleasant experience. So if you're looking for a taste of Disneyland, but you don't need to kill yourself for an entire day, you can get that experience at one of these parties. And they're opening up parties next year for Valentine's Day. They got a Villains Day party in March. Why? I don't know why March is a Villains party, but maybe because Halloween's such a success, they said, let's do another one in March.
Villains are very popular.
Yeah.
And then they've got the Star Wars one in May.
I will say this: the Star Wars one might be harder to get into because they were planning on doing a Star Wars one in 2020, but got canceled because they had to close the park down. So if you had a ticket for that ticket's still valid for the new party.
So you may, tickets, new tickets
So
will be...
if you want to go to the Star Wars one, you need to jump on it as soon as you see that the tickets are available.
You won't have the same experience, more than likely, as what you just described.
Now, getting tickets for these events can be difficult.
However, as of today, there were still tickets available for Valentine's and the Villains. I believe Villains has started, but I know the Valentine's is open, and they still had tickets available for that one.
Well, you said it's like a wonderful date experience.
It is.
Nothing's better than that for Valentine's Day.
It is, and they are doing fireworks there. They didn't do fireworks at our party in Christmas. I'd say, if you're a Star Wars fan, do catch the fireworks with the John Williams music in Disneyland with their speaker system in the Central Plaza. Oh, what an experience.
That was one of my favorite parts of the Disneyland 50th anniversary fireworks was when they were doing the Star Tours section of the fireworks.
Right, this is a whole
The whole
fireworks
fireworks show for John
Star
Williams.
Wars.
Just
It
to hear the
was
Darth Vader, like
all of it.
Boom,
marvelous. Even though I didn't get many pictures taken there, didn't do a lot of attractions, the fireworks were alone worth it as far as I was concerned on that one. But the Merry Christmas Parade, that was my best time at Disneyland this trip, even though we were
did
there
they
5
implement
days.
the changes that we suggested for our Christmas parade episode?
Sadly, no.
Oh, they didn't. There wasn't the
battling- the
battle
There
of
was
Christmas
no battle of Christmas.
at the Central Plaza.
No.
Okay. I thought
It was
fun.
just a marvelous, peaceful, enjoyable experience with the cast members, with the attractions, with the photo ops, with the characters.
You're selling it. I want to do it. And I don't want to go to the park anytime soon.
Highly recommend it. Make sure you allow yourself to get plenty of sleep beforehand. I wouldn't recommend doing a
full
get
day.
there at the rope drop, because if you're miserable between 8 p.m. and midnight, you're not going to enjoy it. So get your sleep that day and show up later and
make that your downtown Disney day.
Yeah, you go to get some Earls if it's still open, and go like.
Yeah, if it's still open.
Have a nice breakfast. Maybe do a character breakfast at a hotel, and then.
My fear is that Disney bean counters are going to see the success and they're going to try to crowd the park more. But it was perfect the night we were there. It was just the right amount of people to interact with, but not get in your way.
That sounds wonderful. It sounds like going to Disneyland in the beginning of December, which
now it's turning into that
There's
that
no
time.
such thing.
There is
There's no
no
off-season.
downtime.
There
There is
is
no
no
off
downtime.
season. Only if Disneyland turns people off because it just costs too much and people stop going.
And that's not happening.
Not yet.
Not
No.
yet.
They're still
We're-
burning through the 2 years that they were shut down, basically.
The
So
people who are anxious to go out
it
on
could
vacation.
could take a while, and then they may say after this experience, they may say, "Whoa, we could do something else for
Well,
this."
I know that's what a lot of Disney World fans were saying. They were saying with their annual passes, like, well, maybe it's time to switch to Universal season pass this year.
How much are they charging for their?
A lot less.
There was a thing with Universal where you could buy it in Florida. It's like you could buy a Universal pass, like all the like Legoland, SeaWorld, like all
Busch
the amusement
Gardens,
packs,
except for Disney.
and that whole package of buying annual pass for all of those parks was less than an annual pass for Disney World.
And I think Universal at one point it was if you were going to go for 3 days, that's the same price as an annual pass.
Yeah.
And so they basically had priced it as a once a year thing. So if you live in Orlando, then
It's a
get an
no-brainer.
annual pass.
That way you don't got to pay for parking at like Disney all the time. We're so expensive.
So, yeah, Disney's changing. It's evolving a lot more, and I think in the next few years it's going to be changing even more. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with annual pass holders, because right now they're not very happy.
Because they can't get a reservation.
They can't get a reservation.
I mean, it was so nice when you
You
could.
can't even buy an annual pass right now,
Yeah.
unless you're a local.
But even if you buy one, you can't get a reservation
Well,
for
that's opened up now.
a
That's
couple
changed
months or
now.
something. It's a
little
little better
bit.
now.
Yes, the calendar has been opened up, so it looks pretty open across the board.
You're not gonna have that wild Friday night when
Like,
all
you
the
can
locals
still-
like swarm the parks, and you're like, well, there goes Friday night.
And this might spoil more magic. That's what I do here on the podcast. This is before Christmas and New Year's. I know this episode's coming out. I think this is the first one of January.
Yeah.
So you can still, as of this recording, of us recording this, you can still get Christmas Day and New Year's Eve at Disneyland in both parks. So they've opened things up. I think it has more to do with the union dispute that has finally resolved itself.
Yes.
I think
There
as
was
soon as
a
that
rumor
happened,
of a
that's
strike.
when everything kind of opened wide open for annual pass holders again. So I think that's why there was a difficulty with that, because
Meet the
Disney was
demand.
was unsure whether or not the casts were going to go for, the unions were going to go for the new terms. So, but that's Disney politics. You guys don't want to hear about that.
Nah, I'm good.
We want to go to the happiest place on earth.
That's
Yeah.
right. We want to be happy. We want to enjoy ourselves. So, overall, your guys' experience on your trip?
My
Oh,
merriest
sweet.
night was merriest night.
Merriest night.
Oh, I loved all of my days at Disney.
The Monday was absolutely
So
great.
to
with
get back
no
to no
pass.
fast passes, there should be like no fast pass Fridays and like
that
Oh,
would be
that would be fun.
Just
if
one
they
day,
had
no
one
fast
day,
pass.
no fast pass, no Genie Plus day. Wow, what an idea! I'd pay extra for that.
I'm trying to make sure we don't pay extra. And you're willing to pay extra. You're not helping
What's the
case.
logic? What's the logic?
You're ruining
I'm
it.
willing to pay $20 extra a day for that.
For
It's like,
everybody.
no!
You're ruining it. They're like, oh, we can make more money. See the fingers clasping each other.
Well, you are paying extra by going to those parties with no fast passes.
Absolutely, but it was totally worth it. Totally worth it in my book. I had a good experience. Now on the other two parties, I might have questioned it, but this Christmas party
Christmas ones are not
was
as
a
busy.
Christmas is not as
slam
busy.
Well,
Halloween
it helps. It
is a
helps
busy
the fact.
time.
It helps with the fact with the Christmas ones they have several of them, and so you get this spread out. It's those like one-time onlys is when it's like super like.
Well, I think the Valentine's is at least 3 days. Star Wars, I think, is 4. I'm
So,
not sure how many.
Because before it used to only
Dylan's
be
is.
one
day.
Yeah, no,
day.
they've
now
gotten smarter.
they've learned and they're like, oh, we can make more money and make it more. Do they give out the free popcorn? And
No,
soda?
I didn't see anything
Okay.
free that way. You
No.
get some trinkets.
I know-
or
I know,
Yeah, it's
like-
on the
weird
floor.
things.
Someone dropped
Well,
it.
No, I know
Before
before.
that, you would get
You could get
unlimited popcorn, ice cream, and
Oh, they
drinks.
used to have like freebie cookies or hot cocoa and stuff
Well, no,
like that.
No,
but
before
Mickey,
this.
the premium bars.
Yeah.
They used to
really?
give you free
Yeah,
of
you
those.
could get unlimited premium bars, unlimited
Like literally,
drinks.
people would come up with backpacks and be like, "All right, thank you," and they go to another one and get.
My
just-
last.
I just see
Stocked up.
like Weird Al's fat, and he's just sitting there like ice cream, and he's like on the
No.
bench.
Disney World did this. I was there when they were experimenting. It was like the after-hour parties where, and I got a free ticket. It was my last time I went to Disney before I went home. And you get free sodas, free ice cream, free popcorn, as much as you want.
But when you're planning your trip to Disneyland, keep in mind of those nights because they
Correct.
do shut down the Disneyland
man.
park
Yeah.
early, and It's terrible
ruined things.
if you're.
You ruined my vacation.
Yes.
It's on you know what the time. They let you know when you come in, and that's where I got.
But now you have to make reservations, so you need to plan ahead when you're making that reservation. Check to see if there's any party nights.
Check your calendars.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, this was a fun episode. Thank you, Father Yodeler, for joining us again this week. It was you contributed quite a bit, and I enjoyed your company. You can get a hold of us, the Matterhorn Yodelers, at our Gmail account, MatterhornYodelers@gmail.com, our Instagram account, as well as I mentioned earlier, our new Twitter account. So please join us and follow us on Twitter.
Facebook.
Also on our Facebook
What's
page.
our Twitter handle?
It is Matter Yodeler, at Matter Yodelers.
At Matter Yodelers.
Yes.
Okay.
And there I'm posting, every day I've been posting this day in Disney history.
What happened today? Oh, I can't do it today.
I can't do it today because this is in the future.
The future would report.
I haven't gone through January. I'm just a day ahead. That's how far I've planned here.
That's true. Sorry. I put you on the spot there. I was like, oh,
I was
that
like,
was
I
totally
remember.
wrong. I apologize.
I think the one, this will tell you when we recorded it. I think the one I posted today was, this is the day when Lillian started working for the Walt Disney Company. Walt Disney's wife.
In the
20s.
The art or the painting.
Yeah.
This is where she worked in.
So, yeah. So, thank you once again for listening to us. Feel free.
Comment below or comment on our media pages if you want to invest in our Yodeler Plus.
Yodeler Plus, $200 an hour. I'll tell you exactly where to go. It's not the tiki room at first.
You just message us and we'd be like, all right.
All prices negotiable.
Just start at $200. It's way more effective. I promise you.
All right, let us know. Do you think Genie Plus is something that you would like to invest in on your next trip to Disney? Let us know. And until next time, Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember...
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.